Hello and welcome to the Teledask Productions Review Corner with me, EpicWinNoob. The topic we're going to be focusing on for a while will be free-to-play games. If you see F2P review in the beginning of the title, this means it is a free-to-play game and you can look in the description for a download link. Every gamer's been in this position before. You want to get a game, but you don't have enough money. Well, the solution to that, you can download a free-to-play game off the internet. Just a little while back, I was looking around on Steam to see if there was any kind of games that I could play for free, and I stumbled upon Tactical Intervention. I heard that the co-creator of Counterstrike was responsible for this game, and I thought, nothing can really go wrong with this, can it? I mean, Counterstrike was a solid game, there was nothing really wrong with it. How could they mess up? Well, they could mess up in a lot of ways. And they did! Let's officially begin this review with my first impressions of this game. The title really caught my eye, and it immediately gave me a good feeling about the game. I thought, I really love a tactical game, so, who knows, maybe it'll actually be pretty good. Because most modern shooters really don't make you think anymore, and they don't really have you use teamwork anymore. Oh, I just wish titles would actually represent the games anymore. Although, I am getting a little ahead of myself. The first major concern I had about the game was when I saw there were only about 110 people online when I first loaded up the game. Now I thought, it could just be a slow day, or, maybe it was just a little late. But no, each time I logged in over the course of 2 weeks, I saw that, on average, there were only about 110 to 120 players at any given time on any given day. And that really concerned me about the quality of the game if there aren't that many people really playing it, and it's only been out for 1 year. Well, I soon found out why the player count was so low as soon as I played my first match. Let's move on and look at some of the gameplay aspects. Overall, everything seemed to be okay, until I had my first run-in with an enemy. I aimed up at him and clicked a couple of times to shoot at him. I realized all my bullets just went wild. Gamer's instinct will tell you when you're playing a first-person shooter, at least a new one that you haven't seen before, you'll just click intermittently, just to kind of get a feel for the shots, maybe, be as accurate as it can. But it doesn't apply in this game. The entire time I was playing this, it all felt like luck. Especially because, I don't know, the recoil is just massive. And it makes no sense. The recoil is overplayed and way too exaggerated. I'm supposed to assume that the characters in this game are a bunch of trained professionals. So why are they shooting like a bunch of drunk people who found guns? It's like they have no idea how to compensate for recoil, or how to absorb the shock. And on the topic of gun mechanics, the damage seems to be completely random. And by this I mean, you can use the same weapon no matter what, and you'll always have different results. All the hitboxes seem to be completely broken and don't really give you the right amount of feedback that you should get, especially headshots. Sometimes you can hit them in the head and do absolutely nothing, and other times it will immediately kill them. And the same thing applies against you. It's all random. Once or twice I've been able to run directly up a staircase taking a hail of gunfire, and I saw that I had so many times I was hit, but I took almost no damage. Through 3 enemies shooting at me at the same time, I was able to stab all of them with a knife. That makes no sense. I should have been killed there. And that paired up with the massive recoil and inaccuracy makes it almost impossible to be able to play this game with any skill. It is all luck-based as far as I can tell. Another thing that really annoys me, whenever you're actually hit in this game, it doesn't give you enough feedback to let you know that you've been hit. Anytime you take damage, you do not hear a bullet impact, you do not hear yourself take damage, you do not flinch. The only indication that you have been shot is if you take the time to look down at your health bar, or if you somehow notice the little triangle icon showing where you got shot from. The issue with that icon is it's right there next to your mini radar in the center of the screen. so you're going to have a problem seeing that anyway because you're not going to be paying attention while being constantly shot at. So next thing you know, you may be running into a room with almost no health left just because you didn't know that you got hit in the first place. If you get hit with a bullet, no matter how much armor you're wearing, you're still going to feel an impact and you're going to flinch a little bit. You're going to notice that. It's just common sense. But no, every character in this game is the equivalent to Arnold Schwarzenegger in Terminator. They're not going to notice any bullets and they're going to treat them like mosquitoes. The only difference is, the bullets will still kill them. To be fair to the game, I tried all of the modes to see how it would play out. Team Deathmatch is just your basic, one side shoots the other side until one side wins. Bomb Defusal is your basic non-respawning, plant the bomb, defuse the bomb situation. The Hostage Rescue, that's one that I really didn't like. For one, the hostage AI is just terrible. I mean, they just run around constantly, getting in the way of everybody's shots. They don't act like hostages at all. They really just kind of run around the room and try to get shot in the face. I don't know, that's the only reason why they would do that. And the way that you rescue hostages is kinda weird too. Unlike Counterstrike where you have to lead them out of the building, in this one you just kinda walk up to them and hold down F until they disappear. I don't know, maybe you just have a teleporter on you all the time. One game mode I did enjoy in particular had to be the highway mode. Despite all the glaring gameplay flaws, this mode is actually a little interesting. It's a different take on the protect the VIP sort of game mode. Both sides get to have cars, and the whole point of the terrorists is that they have to go and kill the VIP and secure the case, while the counter-terrorists have to have the VIP drop off the case at a certain location. It's one of those things that makes a bad game be somewhat enjoyable. I mean, the driving physics are bad, but in a good way. It's the kind of so bad that it's funny kind of look to it. It lets you sit there and you can actually, have a little bit of fun if you have a friend or two and just to see how ridiculous this mode is. Now that the major concerns are gone, I want to address these small details. Let's look at design. Some parts of design are important and some parts are less important. I never really put too much value on the graphics of a game. So long as it looks like there's effort put into it, I really don't care what it looks like, so long as it plays well. That's the important part. I'm gonna look at aspects of design that affect gameplay, such as the user interface and level design. I gotta give them some points on the heads-up display. Overall, it's not gaudy and annoying like most others, but I also gotta take some points away, because there's no incentive to look at it. Let me explain. The point of it is to give you information about your character. How much ammo do you have left? How much health do you have left? And etc. The problem is the mechanics of the game don't enact a reason for you to look at it. I mean, bringing up the fact that you don't react when you take damage, I mean, that doesn't give you incentive to look down and see how much health you have. You're focusing on what you're aiming at. And when your screen is going crazy when you're trying to fire at someone, you're not really going to pay attention to how much ammo you have left. Even with all the information there on screen, you're still going to run into a room half dead with no ammo in your clip, because the game has never really given you a reason to look down and be able to know what's going on with your character. I'm going to glaze over the graphics section because it's really not that important. It runs on the source engine, it looks okay, and it's better than Half-Life 2, so there you go. Lastly, I want to address level design. I'm not talking about skyboxes and how pretty they can make the levels look, I mean the level's utility. Overall, the design seems to be pretty consistent for each level. There's a lot of open areas, and then there's some sections cut off from the rest for close quarters combat. Although I have yet to see one that is strictly close quarters and one that is strictly long distance. Not that it's a bad thing that you can strike a nice compromise between the two, but there should be some maps that are dedicated to one or the other. But to be perfectly honest, with the shooting mechanics, the only maps that are actually enjoyable are the ones that are really focused on close quarters combat. Well, now that that's done, I think it's finally time that I get to my rating. Keep in mind that this review has not been very thorough. It doesn't get into the gritty details, although it does give an overview of how the game is. Having taken into account the points I have made in my review, I have a score prepared. The game had a lot of potential. It could have been really good, but there are way too many glaring flaws that should be fixed. The core gameplay is really broken, at least it feels like it as compared to any other free-to-play shooter out there. And it just confuses me. I don't know how people responsible for Counterstrike would make something this bad. I'm not saying that they didn't try very hard, I know that it's not an easy process, but there's some standards that have to be met regardless, and for the most part, this just doesn't cut it. It's one of those first-person shooters that you might want to try. Overall, the only really enjoyable mode is the highway mode, and that's only because it's pretty ridiculous. But, you know, maybe that is a redeeming quality. Maybe that's something worth playing it for. Just remember, of course, I know that I'm not you, and I know that I'm not going to have the same exact opinion as you, so try it out. Check the link in the description and you can download it if you have Steam. And I don't know, maybe you'll enjoy it, but this has just been my take on it. I hope I've been able to inform, and I hope to be able to inform you in the future. I just want to give a simple, honest, gamer's point of view review on a game. Thanks for watching. This was EpicWinNoob with the Teledask Review Corner. Have a good day.